Right. So, as a result of the extensive stress testing, remind me what your icon relationship dice results were. You got a 5 with the Great Gold Worm, right?
Yes.
Did you trigger anything else?
I don't think so. Let me
I
let me check my notes.
I'll have to check the end of the video because I forgot to write them down. I thought it was just a 5 with
I
a Great Gold Worm.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Where's my? That is. Huh. I think it was. My
Okay.
notes don't deny or confirm
So
it.
that will be absorbed as well. This will be up to you to build. To me, if not to anyone else, how Thomas is growing for this. You're going to get or Thomas is going to get a +2 permanent bonus to an ability score that wasn't increased by race or class.
Okay.
+2 ability points just as a result of his experiences, both with the concoction, basically how it improved him, and as well as Scarlet and her applicable magics, bringing it out of Thomas, among other things.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to think about that.
Yes, I just wanted to note that eventually, after this time, Thomas will be delivered by Dragonkin to the prison area. He will be without Scarlet, without Calarel, and he will be without his weapon and armor, but they will have seen fit enough to clothe him, so that he doesn't have to be cold away from the fires. The warlocks won't be here. You'll be escorted through. These aren't cells so much as areas with like drab mats where someone can be chained to, so they have enough freedom to like maybe move into the hallway, but they have to be kept here. It's not as severely restricting as the altar was. Ceiling's about 3 meters high. Make it all the way to the end of the room, and you hear one individual perk up in this
Oh no.
particular area as you're
I should have
slotted
chosen death.
as you're slotted into here and strapped in, and the individual here is clothed roughly about the same as you are, without weapon or armor. He looks pretty rough, worse for wear. He's got numerous cuts and bruises that are slowly healing on his body. He looks at you with his sharp blue eyes, and a wide grin slowly spreads across his face. Well, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. How
I
funny
had
how
hoped
life works.
I had hoped the same thing.
Don't suppose you brought me an apple, did you?
No, sorry.
Damn. Rav goes the extent of his chain.
If you say what I think you're about to say, you will have a very bad time very soon.
Man, I didn't even get a chance. Life ain't right. So, thanks for visiting. What brings you here?
Things and stuff.
Things and stuff. Well, that is very evocative and descriptive. I have all of the time in the world to bother you, I assure you about this.
Are you going to?
I don't have anything better to do. There's no one else in here. You can't reach me unless I voluntarily step into the middle, which I won't. Come on. Come on. Open up to me.
How about you start? How did you get here, of all places?
Well, if it helps to loosen your tongue, I came here as part of a job. An alchemist with whom I spoke asked, after curing me, offered rather to pay rather handsomely in exchange for scales of dragonkin, but not just any dragonkin, very rare dragonkin who had the ability to transform into a humanoid shape. The alchemist mentioned this locale as a way by which I could find at least one of them. I hope to peek my head in and see if I can scoop up some scales.
And that didn't work out, obviously.
No. Plan's going flawlessly. This is one of my numerous stages. I'll be out of here before you know it with fistfuls of scales.
Of course.
You had the opportunity to get a few, I'm sure.
A sigh is the only answer.
Are those marks along your neck? You do smell of mint and summer rain.
Could you shut up, please?
And other smells. You do need a bath.
Well, how inconvenient it is that there's no bathtub in range, is there?
Indeed not. So, I told you mine. Share with me.
Well, after trying to infiltrate this place to find out if there's a rather significant evil force at work, it turns out that their way of turning me to a lizardman didn't work because I'm apparently not a human, but rather a piece of the great gold worm or something along those lines. That's the short version. I think my story is rather more interesting than yours.
Yeah, I think so. Funny how in all the areas of the Dragon Empire we managed to meet up like this. It's destiny willed by the gods.
Yes, fate can be funny
I
like
helped
that,
you
suppose.
out, and now you can help me. I'm sure your companions are rounded about somewhere, and I'll be rescued again.
Yes, rescued. Sure.
Fantastic.
Under one condition, though.
Look, you're in just as much of a situation as I'm in right now. I don't know whether you get to go around making conditions for me.
Well, one condition. Just humor me.
I mean, I don't have a choice.
Okay, shut up. That's my condition.
I'm gonna have to make a counteroffer.
Oh?
Yes, you give me some more entertainment, and maybe, just maybe, you can start by telling me how she was.
No.
Yep. I offered. Dreadful.
Indeed.
So, you didn't come here looking for incredible dragon kin scales of incredibly rare dragon kin that you could sell or give to an alchemist for gold?
I didn't, yeah.
Well, never get some of those. Suppose I can tell you she was a rather nice individual. Ollie, the alchemist, I think she was called. Wore little. Rather idiosyncratic elf. Very curious and inquisitive. Did know quite a bit about that, Ursilia Melkor. Which, by the way, whatever came of her?
I was just about to ask you that same question.
You folks let me go. I left.
So did we after a time. There was simply no solution to any problem there.
She's still alive?
I suppose.
Yeah, I learned, turns out, Ollie, affiliated with the Archmage. Apparently, Ursilia Melkor known, known Lich Baroness. Specifically, in her case, the Baroness of Blood. Apparently, Archmage aren't doing anything about it. Apparently, this whole Lichdom thing isn't exactly unique among the Archmage's people. They like to study the fucking Lich King and see whether they can learn his secrets, and they turn a blind eye towards people becoming Liches. In her case. So apparently there's just a Lich Baroness just ruling all over Foghaven.
Yeah, we figured as much. But considering that she wasn't running around the street murdering people and has led the town rather reasonable for quite a while, we figured, let bygones be bygones. And just...
Yeah. Sure. You know, the liquid she gave me, or rather, the one that I was forced to drink, and then later accepted voluntarily due to my addiction, one that the alchemist was able to cure me of, and these dragon scales are used in some sort of potion to cure the ailment. Apparently, I'm not the only person who is worried to have this condition. The Baroness directly serves a Lich Count who operates on this side of the Midland Sea, and apparently Foghaven's not the only area where this liquid has been spotted. Or so I heard from the alchemist. Very chatty. Very lovely woman. Yes, something about a Lord Zarza, Viscount of Wrath, Marquis of Secrets, boring as fucking hell, incredibly powerful, I'm sure, magic, Lich Count, Undying Peerage, a whole bunch of rubbish, but seeing as how you're the adventuring do-gooder sort who puts an end to all manners of fell creatures and ruins the free flow of trade and commerce, thought maybe that might be useful to you, in exchange for all of the good things you've done in my life.
All things considered, we have done quite a bit for you after all. That is true.
Yes. Yes. That's why I said it.
And I just confirmed that you are indeed telling the truth.
Yes. Now, how are we going to get out of here?
We wait, see what happens.
Food here is not very good. Well, the food I've been eating hasn't been very good. The stuff that they delivered to me. I don't know what you've been eating over there, Mr. Child of Big Goldie with whatever.
I mean, the food has been quite a roller coaster, but I don't think I'm going to get any better food than you are at the moment, although I don't see how the food situation currently matters a lot.
Well, you said that we were going to have to just wait and see what happens.
Yes.
I was lamenting about the quality of food. Do you know how long we're going to be waiting to see what happens?
I would suggest then that you get used to the food.
Where's the cavalryman, the wizard, the dwarf with the beard and his powerful magic? Where's he at?
Not here in prison, which is all that matters.
Wait, you have companions and you came here alone?
Evidently so.
No backup plan?
No backup plan. This was our only plan, and if it weren't for the fact that, as you put it, whatever that was with the Great Gold Worm, it would have worked too, I'm pretty sure.
How did we fail to you, who don't have a backup plan?
Well,
I don't want to hear anything.
Alright, good.
Rav begins sulking in the corner. An indeterminate amount of time later. You had to have had a backup plan.
Well, it would be at this point where I would lecture you about having faith and all that, but I do agree it was pretty stupid.
Huh. See, I had... Well, doesn't matter what I had. Damn it.
Maybe it does matter what you had. Did you come here without a backup plan?
No, I definitely had a backup plan.
And that went swimmingly, I see.
Yeah, turns out my charm doesn't work so well on the superior types who thumb their nostrils or whatever they have at sweets. Bit out of my element here. Shame about me losing my entire hideout and command over mercantilism and trade. Gotta make my bones somewhere else, you know?
I guess we're both in the same spot then. I don't see how you can accuse me of being careless then. Because I am very much aware that what I've done was careless, but it was the only option.
Look, the only thing I can accuse you of is getting a better end of the deal than I did.
I'm not quite sure about that yet.
I am. Look at you. You're all glowing. That smug grin on your face. I've seen that look before.
I'm sure you have.
It's like looking in a mirror. It's unsettling. Damn, I want an apple. I don't suppose you saw any way how to get out of here. I mean, you look strong enough. You can break that chain holding you there.
I could probably find the way back out, but this place is crawling with, well, those lizard people and dragonkin. I'm not sure if that would be the smartest approach to this.
Yeah, but if we sit here long enough, then they're just gonna, like, eat us or something?
If they wanted to eat us, they probably would have.
Maybe they're waiting for desperate times. Oh, well, what about, like, I've seen so many other people come in, and, like, he moves out here for, like, emphasis, and he looks down, the hallway, and they get ported out for some sort of transmogrification, or whatever the fuck they said.
Yes, they got turned into lizards.
And that didn't happen to you because you're not human.
It seems so, yes.
Wonder what I'm still doing here.
Maybe your charm worked after all, just not in the way you intended.
I don't know how comfortable I feel about waiting. I don't think I want to be turned into one of them.
It's probably better than death, and probably reversible in some way.
Yeah, Ali mentioned that could be reversed on the off chance that I got captured while attempting to collect dragonkin scales for her.
It seems like Ellie already planned for this situation then.
I don't like what that insinuates.
I don't think you have to like it.
You're a hard man, Thomas.
Have to be.
Guess we're waiting here. You know any good songs?
Not particularly. I hope you don't either.
We'll see what you like. And so, for the remainder of the time which elapses between what Thomas experiences and what the rest of the group experiences, Thomas is going to be effectively imprisoned next to the Whispering Ravenger.
I should have chosen death.
That is the end of interaction, unless you have like anything that you want Thomas to do in his current predicament.
No. As stupid as it might seem, I don't think an escape attempt is the right choice of action here.
Okay. All right. In that case, we'll shift away from Thomas's experiences to your experiences as a player. Are you still walking out with more questions and answers?
I still have questions. I don't have more than before, I think.
That's good. That's good. We didn't increase the number.
I do have to say I didn't see certain things coming.
Ha ha. Ah ha ha ha.
Yes.
Ha 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 ha. So, what did you expect coming into this solo interaction with the GM?
Most of all, I expected Scarlet to actually have a plan that she was willing to share, because bad guys tend to do that. And not just, yeah, I would get a lot if I killed you, but I'm not going to because you don't have to know. That was something I hoped for, to see what's really motivating her. I got a bunch of questions answered, definitely. I was hoping she was more willing to talk about the fall, because she only told me things that I already knew.
Or
But
suspected.
Or suspected, but of course she would, because why would she tell everything ever to a prisoner? She's not like a James Bond villain.
Yes, she's also not like some people who are so confident of their victory that they'll blurt out things and then later run away about it.
Yes.
Not naming any names.
She is smarter, unfortunately.
Yes, seeing firsthand the experiences of her once friend, now slave, and what she thought was a good idea. It's a persuasive fact.
She's certainly more careful. Yeah, I forgot what question you actually asked of me, but yeah. I was just kind of talking.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem with that at all, and I am happy to hear of your experiences and your perceptions as a player.
It was entertaining. It was not entirely unexpected, although there were unexpected things that have happened, and I think that was excellent.
Good.
I am not really enjoying the fact as a player that basically my character's whole fate depends on the other characters.
It is certainly
that is just a consequence of what we have chosen to do.
Yes, it is a feeling. It's a feeling of powerlessness, and I can certainly understand the dislike for it. And I would just point you back to Team PC chose to send Thomas here alone. Death was certainly a possibility for your character. Scarlet was not leaning towards killing Thomas, but if Thomas had done enough to make her hostile, she would have just fucking plunged an athame into Thomas's chest, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah, I figured antagonizing her would be a bad idea.
Good reason. With the amount of ropes on the altar, Thomas was effectively helpless, and could not have done a single thing, naked as he was, and alone, without the companions. But that was all up to what Thomas wished to do, and Thomas was very polite and courteous throughout, and Scarlet was someone who responded to that. Not everyone would have.
I did kind of decide to go with the typical lawful good do-gooder approach to trying
Yep.
to convert the enemies.
Yes, yes,
You
yes,
can
I
be
get
so
that.
much more if you just decide
Yeah.
to be.
She's not being a Mr. Bond villain, but you're being.
I'm being Mr. Bond here. Well, not quite, but you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what James Bond did. Tried to convert people. Like,
I just figured that that kind of fits Thomas's like typical lawful good kind of character.
yes, and
It's such a funny contrast to the rest of the party
yeah,
too.
it also fits the stereotype that's painted onto paladins of the Great Gold Worm.
Although he's not technically a paladin, which gives
Yeah.
him more leniency occasionally.
Which is good, considering the companions he's with.
Yes.
Even though Thomas trusts them.
Thomas is like, I'm just going to look the other way. As long as you don't summon like undead in front of me and tell them to kill peasants, I'm fine with most things.
I
As
love-
long as we continue to work together.
Scarlet offers to like reveal something to him, and Thomas is like, "No, I'm looking another way still." No, 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 no.
Basically, yes.
Ignorance is bliss.
It is. In this case, it very much is.
The hope was to, define the experiences that your character would have here alone, and give you an opportunity to have character development in light of the icon relationship dice you triggered, in the hopes that you would become more invested and thus have more fun, and also to give you something to do or something to think about as you're watching all of the other characters as they go about their actions.
I'm kind of looking forward to that because it is sometimes entertaining to see the party acting without you because it means that they themselves bring upon them whatever they decide to do, and
Right.
you have no responsibilities.
The lack of responsibility is so
Yes.
free.
Ignorance and lack of responsibility is bliss.
It's like, let's see what dumb shit they'll do. It's great.
You know, all things considered, they made me do this so they can figure this out.
They made you do this. It
You
could have
said-
been. It could have been dark. It could have been dark. Didn't
It
have
could
to
have
be
been
Thomas.
dark, but I saw where things were going.
You could have done a full frontal assault. Goger was very strongly in favor of that. Or
Basically, as a player, I saw getting captured coming from a mile away. But Thomas wouldn't. I mean, his companion's reasonings would have made sense to him that he is the best person for an infiltration. And assaults always mean that there's a lot of risk involved, so clearly this was the best approach, except it wasn't at all. I mean, things happen. This was certainly interesting than a 3-hour combat encounter.
yes, and based on what you've seen, I know Manikai is pretty strong. Like, I think we're gonna take it. There's a lot of fucking dudes just in
Yep.
that tavern above you.
There was a lot of them, yes.
Yes, which is something that I enjoyed showing off. You as players, you obviously discussed like maybe they have like a fortified keep with like murder holes. It's gonna be like all kinds of like
And then it was
gates.
just a tavern full of
Maybe
dudes.
only like a better. You come to like a tavern like full of dudes. I like that map. Pretty much all of my time spent preparing for last session was since I didn't really know what you guys were focused on. I was just like, I'll just make maps, and I already know what the characters do and what they want, like my NPCs. So I'll just wing it from there based on that. I'll just make maps. And so I made this map. I made the tavern map, and then I made that neighborhood map for you guys to go walking through. Not too much of a map maker, but for whatever reason for this campaign, I've decided, fuck it.
I definitely like this map and the tavern map a lot. They have a lot of detail. I like it.
Yes. I know it doesn't quite feature the lovely grass that you saw, but it also doesn't feature the high tide waters next to the door.
I mean, you have to agree that the architectural choices there are very questionable.
It was built by nobles! Come on, man! Oh, shit. There we go. I can allow you to take another look at the tavern map, so that you can look at how pretty it is.
It is pretty.
Do you have any questions or comments or observations for me as a player?
Not immediately.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that if you had any questions for me, you would ask them.
Probably. Yes, so a +2 bonus to an ability score that wasn't one that you chose by your race or class. Which I can't even remember. Was it Strength and Constitution that you increased?
I chose Strength and Wisdom, I believe.
Right, Wisdom. Right.
Pretty sure that's what I did.
Could not remember. And that's actually, I wanted to look at your character sheet just to make sure. That's what I had to, like, pause the fucking video now. Like maybe join them or upload 2 parts. I don't know what future Grimith wants to do. Shit, effort. I hate effort. It's like the worst thing ever. I also wanted to check to confirm, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what his one unique thing was. And I didn't have the character sheet open. Damn. Yes. +2 bonus. Basically, it's just an awakening, a further development of your one unique thing. And that can be flavored and detailed however it is, like, based on what ability score you increase, how Thomas has grown from the excruciating pain to the serene tranquility to his experiences with Scarlet and Calorel.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet which I'm going to pick. The obvious choice would be Con because combat, but just optimizing for combat is boring.
I agree. You certainly have encountered numerous non-combat situations. You know, last session was not the first session to feature no combat. And whenever it comes to non-combat situations, I'm noticing a lot of, gosh, we sure hope Griff is here.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason is that his background fits a lot of situations, like every situation almost, and also that his stat rolls have been godly. So he is, like, the best person for most things.
Which is why I have even less of a problem with him spending so much time in a box. I think it's great. It's like, yeah, just fucking power character arrives every now and then. Oh, peasants, I'll save you from your troubles.
Oh, yeah.
And he spirits away. This will be an opportunity for you to see how Team PC fights without you.
I think that'll be fine. I mean, I have been gone like the week before last week, and apparently they've won against like the meanest enemy they've ever seen.
They, not for lack of trying to fail, especially when they split the party. It was really delicious. One of the things that amuse me is when the players who know better voluntarily agree to split the party because of overconfidence, because of hubris. And then, they trigger shit. And, Dwohiram and Tempest were, like, 4 or 5 rounds away from impacting the battlefield at all.
Oh my. Yeah.
And Manikai just wanted to summarize it up, like, can we just arrive when the escalation die hits 6? I'm like, no, make the movement. It's a good thing that I did, too, because they would have arrived even later. Both Leon and Fargus went down multiple times, and they were so close to both being down together. It was, some unfortunate death save rolls. Yes. the enemies in question that they fought there whenever they separated weren't that terrible. I will place them on I'll place one of them on the basement map. Let me see if I can find one of them. Should have them on this map. No.
I think part of the reason why splitting up a party still happens for like I would call us veteran players at this point is that on the one hand it's a terribly stupid thing to do and every player knows that, but sometimes it's just I can't justify my character having the paranoia that would require him to stick around.
Sure, that's fair, and it's something that can develop in characters, and something that, you know, probably does develop in characters who are adventurers over, like, progression. It's completely understandable that your characters wouldn't have the same attitudes towards constantly looking at the ceiling watching out for oozes that you as a player might. So whenever they triggered the enemies, whenever they split up, Fargus and Dark fought two of these, who didn't get a surprise round. They just came out of like a huge, gigantic stack of papers and books. And the attacks that they used were primarily this one, which is against physical defense. It has 18 damage, 5 ongoing negative energy damage, and you get to pop free. And in the case of an even hit, they get to make an extra attack, which is against mental defense, which deals 10 psychic damage and stuns you, which means -4 to all of your defenses and you can't take actions.
Oh, that's mean. The damage isn't that bad, all things considered, but yeah.
Yeah, they fought two of these. Whenever these characters get to half health, they sort of have implementations like those Clockwork Devils. They get to make a special attack against 1d3 nearby enemies, which is basically that Life Drinker Strike. Only it doesn't have the natural even hit thing. So they can pop up to 3 of these things. And whenever they're reduced to 0 hit points, they get to make that attack again. We also have some serious resistances, which Fargus was able to bypass somehow.
Somehow.
With good fortune. So yes, they only fought 2 of those, and by the battle mechanic standards, they could have handled more. Then again, they split the fucking party, so those 2 were enough to take Leon and Fargus.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite things about 13th Age is the fact that all enemies are like unique in a way. They, unlike Pathfinder, they are not just like things with different HP, different AC, and different saves, different attacks. Maybe they are vastly different, mostly in their offensive strategies. Yes. Anyways,
the game encourages for making monsters, and it certainly has this in its various bestiaries to have instead of just like bland like blah like damage numbers or whatever, which are those can exist on lower level enemies, like those bandit archers that you guys fought. They didn't really have anything special about them other than the fact that they nearly fucking took down the party. And all they just did was like a hit and damage thing. They had like a short sword attack. But what 13th Age likes to do is to give monsters flavoring so that they might do something on evens or odds, hits or misses. They have varying abilities depending on combat situations. Like you, only their damage doesn't vary. Their variance comes not in damage, but in their triggering abilities. And there's other triggers that you folks haven't seen, like triggers that can depend on the target's, like an ability score. Like Barrick Whitmorn, the Ice Wizard, like one of his abilities could make you vulnerable to cold damage based on whether his natural roll was higher than your intelligence.
Oh yeah, I think we yes. saw that at some point. Yes. Yeah, and then there's triggers like the fucking red caps. who trigger when the players say something.
Yes, and that's because that their abilities can trigger when the characters are thinking it, and if you're saying it out loud, your character's thinking it then. Yes, that's another reason why we're so amused by your willingness to come here, despite the fact that you do Calorel. If Calorel's here, that means more of those motherfuckers are here.
Uh,
But not your problem.
no, everything Thomas has done so far has made sense to him.
You know, so long as you...
It wasn't the most ideal way to do things, and I have known that from a player perspective, but this is not a game that you're supposed to win. This is a game you're supposed to play as characters.
Well, you know, ultimately the goal is to have fun, however it is that you have that.
Exactly.
And so long as you're having fun with it, and so long as everyone else is having fun, being able to work together with their clashing character designs, that's great.
Yeah, I'm definitely the kind of player who, in the end, wouldn't mind a character death or like a character turning evil or whatever, if it makes for a good story. Like overall for the others too. Like I have talked to Menegai before one of the or after one of the Way of Wicked sessions, where he basically offered the opinion for our characters to go rogue and join up with the tyrant. And I basically went to Menegai and said, you know, I think you were even there in the conversation. Yeah, then you know what I mean basically.
Yes, I understand the sentiment. For me, character death, I want to happen in a few situations. One of which is I want character death to have meaning, which is why I don't want your characters to die against individuals who are unnamed, who don't have much importance in the story. That's not the type of campaign where I find that valuable. The other situation in which I'm open to character death is when the players egregiously do something stupid.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, character death is a punishment for the players. In a way.
I don't like to see it as a punishment, but whenever players, say, attempt to do something, and I can't logically think of a way why you wouldn't suffer death for that, then I just go... A situation would have been if you got captured, rendered helpless on an altar, and
then spit in her face.
I think I thought of that, like, as a possibility. Like, if you made her hostile, then I'm like, there's no way she's gonna spare him. She'll fucking kill him. Like, she can still profit from killing him. So she will.
Or, like, dying to just Archer number 13. That's like, no. That's... It has to be a good end, like against a named dude in an epic battle. That's a good end, but not against Archer number 13.
I mean, and I suppose I'm also open, like, if player characters want their characters to die in situations, I'm like, okay, that's your character, you're the one telling the story. You want your character to die in this moment? Okay, it's fine with me, but, at least in a high fantasy campaign setting like this, I advocate death based on those situations. In different rule sets, that attitude changes.
Yeah, and in more gritty approaches to roleplay.
Yeah, that fucking word. Gritty.
Gritty, yeah. It's like a buzzword.
Yeah. Gritty. Dark. Grim.
Realistic.
Yes. Intense hardcore. In the grim, dark, gritty reality of Call of Cthulhu. Wait, what? Grim, dark, gritty, whatever. Reality? I hope not.
That would be terrifying.
You know, like Warhammer stuff or any other setting like All Flesh Must Be Eaten, Vampire the Masquerade are also systems which advocate more towards character death than this high fantasy. I want to say crap, but I do enjoy high fantasies or whatever. Yes. My goal is to make sure that the players have tools to have fun. I am a facilitator. I don't write this damn thing. I just make this shit up so that you guys can write this damn thing. Like, Rav, I knew he was there. And I was like, Thomas gets fucking captured. He's gonna be put next to Rav. This is gonna be the best thing ever. And that's something that I enjoyed through this body language sharing. You saw him? I should have chosen death!
Oh. That's not something I saw coming.
It's another thing I like of the choices you as players make reflecting themselves in the campaign. Even the minor choices perhaps coming back sessions down the road. In this case, Rav. Your character's probably the worst character to be stuck with him. I suppose Fargus would be just as bad.
Yeah.
Then again, Fargus could do something with magic. Your character can't, fucking reach over and, fucking fry Rav to death to get him to shut up.
I could throw my, loincloth at him. Almost isn't quite that desperate yet.
And I knew that he would be even better, particularly if your character got into sexual activity with Scarlet, because Rav would, and then attempt to, make a joke about it or be all coy and shit, and see how Thomas would go from there. Well, no matter what, I think you can say your character had the best session of all, because your character got some, and that's what every adventure
That's
requires.
what matters.
That's what matters, damn it.
I mean, all things considered, it could have gone a lot worse.
Yes.
That's definitely true.
Death was on the table, because you were on the table. Those are all the reflections that I have. If you don't have anything else, then we're good to set up shop and steal off into the, I guess, day. That's what happens. It's like the Goblin Market. Everyone close off shop and steal off into the day.
I was kind of surprised that you basically said 6 hours from now, because I figured your time it would be really early morning.
It is less than 8 right now. Yes, I told you that. Well, I didn't tell you, just that my first Euro-friendly day would be Thursday, and just due to events that are happening in general, my sleep schedule has become haphazard as I've.
Okay.
So I'll be fielding phone calls shortly. And I'll probably be getting some sleep after that, since I haven't slept in a while. Which is why I was hoping that you would fucking wake up early in German land. Why won't he be like Malachi and wake up when the sun comes up, damn it?
All things considered, I woke up early. For my standards, anyways.
I was surprised you actually got to... I'm like, he's not gonna fucking respond to this. We're gonna do this later.
Normally on Saturdays I wake up at 1 or 2, but today I got up early for my standards.
Yes. Woo, it's like all of the pieces come together. It's like fate. It's like destiny.
Destiny, yeah.
Yeah, so, your character, I suppose I'd ask you before, we go away, how do you think that he will handle what he's learned? How much of it does he trust? Where is he gonna go with the information he's gathered about himself?
I mean, Calorel has no reason to lie. And as far as Thomas...
Calorel wanted to kill your character.
Calorel, sorry. Scarlet. There we go. Scarlet has very little reason to lie, and as far as Thomas is under the impression that instead of lying, she just didn't answer questions she wanted to avoid. If that's completely true or not is a whole different story, but she had no reason to lie.
Alright.
And as far as Thomas is concerned, the answer fits with what he is and has been experiencing. Or it would fit anyways, since I kind of know more than Thomas, because of course I do. So, I mean, he wouldn't just go up to his companions and be like, "Hey guys, I'm, I don't even know, but I don't even know what he would say."
That would be something else to consider as well. Presumably, the players will encounter, well, the other characters will encounter Thomas again. You know, how will Thomas present, like, his situation, like, you can consider as a player? Maybe Thomas will as well, because he's gonna be here for, a few days. Like, he might consider, like, what questions he's gonna get and how he's gonna answer those questions. Will he be forthright with everything? So yeah, apparently I'm like spawned from the great gold worm or something. I'm not human, guys. Hope that doesn't change anything. Yeah, they tried to turn me into a fucking dragon thing, and no, still me.
I mean, the only thing I'm not going to look forward to is Menekai going, "I told you so," and I knew that that was your unique thing, or at least one of those things, because he has said in the past multiple times that whatever character I make, it's always connected to dragons in some way, like in some significant way, and he's already joked about my background being something similar, so he's going to feel very smug.
He already did at the end of last session, I think, whenever he like leaned back and smiled.
Yeah, I think he suspects.
Well, don't give a damn about what he thinks if
Yeah,
it's
I'm
character.
not. I just find it funny.
Yes.
I think Thomas would be the kind of person who would be just forthright and say basically what he's been told. Yep, apparently I'm not human. Apparently I'm the scion of the great gold worm. I'm not sure what that means. Don't ask me. Let me think about this myself. Because what?
Okay. How much?
That's no reason to keep it secret, anyways.
All right. So, if being forthright, how much detail would he go into about his predicament and how he got here? If you were asked, like, so how did the infiltration go? Like, what happened? Like,
I mean, it would probably basically be him saying, yeah, that whole serum or that whole liquid that turns people into lizards didn't work, and apparently I'm not human. And things would probably develop from there.
okay. He gonna share everything that he learned from his conversation with Scarlet?
Um, I don't think he has any reason to keep anything secret.
Okay.
Of course, he doesn't know that like Viscount guy that Rev mentioned actually showed up because he wasn't there for that.
Yes, he does not know that.
So if that comes up, he can certainly share that. Otherwise, he would probably just keep it in mind because that seems like weird information at the moment. That doesn't seem relevant to anything,
Right.
except it is.
Thomas is busy, like, sorting everything else that just fucking happened in his life. And it's not as if he wants, like, to, like, listen to or believe anything from Rav anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, he as well has no reason to lie, especially with outrageous information like that. That's kind of the
So, if there's anything Rav has been accused of, it's been honesty.
yes.
Which, maybe is accurate or isn't accurate as you want to believe.
I mean, he's either very honest or very good liar, or both. Probably both.
He was a bandit lord.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Thomas has any reason to keep anything secret. He hasn't learned anything that he doesn't want the others to know. He hasn't learned anything about the others that he doesn't want them to know that he knows.
Okay. So,
Exactly to avoid that kind of predicament.
So, what does he think about the whole Scarlet Serpent's establishment now? You had expressed some of those attitudes towards Scarlet herself.
I mean, from the very beginning, one of the thoughts I got from this whole operation was like, they don't just capture people, they give the desperate a choice for a different life. That could be interpreted as a good thing, regardless of what the choice entails. And there are certainly people who seem innocent enough, who seem desperate enough, who don't really mind the whole organization. Like Ellie, for example. Ellie seems very, very into this whole thing, and into Thomas apparently, as well as they seem to have given people who wanted to back out the opportunity. I'm not sure how safe or how much of an opportunity that really was, But all things considered, those were things that I didn't expect from a super evil organization. Therefore, it stands to reason that its leader also has like motivations that are probably not inherently good, but Scarlet is probably doing things for a reason because she seems like to be that kind of person. And whether those reasons are simply cause these supposedly good things to worse. Maybe her goals just require giving people choices in order to get the proper loyal suspects, which is certainly one interpretation. Or maybe on the other hand, this is just how she has decided for things to go, and maybe she isn't even aware that she likes to not be quite as hard and evil as she is. It's probably a bit of a naive and far-fetched approach, but it's certainly something that fits Thomas, At least give the opportunity because he has faith in his companions, because he has to. And if shit goes down, Scarlet will not have too many choices. Eventually, there's going to be a confrontation. He is sure of that. And, if she wants to reconsider her life choices eventually, Thomas would let her. There's at least signs of... Also, there's at least signs of the opportunity or the possibility. And also it would be a pretty damn good blow against the Free to actually convert some of their minions. Like the Black Fang in this case. Like they are seen by many as this super powerful group because they are an icon basically, and now they are apparently 4, whatever that means. And as Scarlet put it, everyone who is smart and intelligent is going to follow them because they are supposedly invincible. At least that is the reasoning she basically...
They will bring about the end of the 13th Age.
They will bring about the end. They are the most powerful. But, if people show others that they are really not, then that might be an even bigger strike against them than anything else.
Okay. So, what does Thomas want done with the Scarlet Serpents? Obviously, he's not a big advocate of being in prison. What does he want done with them?
If he had the choice, he would at least give everyone there the opportunity to see that, you were desperate, you've been given a choice, and it was the only one you had, so it's not really your fault that you ended up like this. But if you disagree with doing the right thing from now on, even though I'm giving you the choice, then you're basically screwed and you're my enemy. That goes basically for everyone here. So if the PCs are likely just going to come in here rampaging and murder people on site because that's just what they do.
And it's a feeling for you as well. It's another way that you're able to alleviate responsibility. Thomas has different perceptions and attitudes and what he wants to do compared to the rest of the characters.
In the end, I think Thomas at least wants to know that he has tried and not just went around murdering people, because that's not what he is.
You've certainly conveyed that through the character throughout the campaign. I can just look at Rav over there, the fact that he still lived in spite of everything. List of Thomas's regrets.
All things considered, Rev is not the worst kind of person. not the literal worst. He is the worst, but not the literal worst.
I would say, I think Rav has demonstrated his lack of good.
He just has a lack of morals in general. He just does what benefits him. He is not the kind of person who tortures others for fun. He's not quite that far off. At least as far as I'm aware.
Well, there was that torture room in the bandit hideout, and there was that little secret alcove shrine adjacent to his room.
It's probably a bit too naive to think of him that way, but
he's just such a good guy, though, isn't he? Every time you spoke with him, he's been reasonable.
That's many words to use for Rev, but reasonable is probably not one of them. Yes.
Certainly more reasonable than the player characters are.
Yes, that's the thing. How would Thomas justify basically judging Rev to be a bad guy when he's working with people like the others?
Yes, Fargus.
Like Mr. I am a Lich Leon or something.
And Thomas resisted the temptation to learn more. He could have asked about Leon.
You know, his companions are a necessity for the greater good. That's how it is.
I've never heard that greater good line before, ever. Keeping Ajax and Ursilia Melkor alive was for the greater good. We're not gonna have to worry about you advocating going back to Foghaven, are we?
I don't think so. Character perspective, I don't know. Player perspective, never. No. Just fuck that place. It's like everyone there hates us. Everyone who we kind of like just left. So, I mean...
What I hope to bring out through over 14 sessions that we've done, next session will be our 15th. What I hope to bring out is I like shades of morality. I like people who are... I like the common folk having those stupid, ignorant, stereotypical attitudes that they deserve to have, which are so unappreciative towards people trying to do good things for them.
Yeah. I mean, and it is certainly enjoyable to play a stereotypical, like, lawful good character in that kind of setting. Because in a normal, like, straightforward adventure where you are playing the good guys, then everyone is the good guys.
Right.
And there's no, like, shades and differences. Where in this is certainly a setting where the other PCs are probably more comfortable because they are far more...
Yes, I did not think the player characters would have as many shades as they do, but they certainly do. It's a thing. I had something on my mind, and I blame it on the call quality dropping. It dropped for a little bit, and then it distracted me, and that's why I had my train of thought. Fuck. Yes, in addition to that, I also like having enemies who don't choose to stay until death. I like enemies who want to preserve their lives, and so try to run away. Which angers Team PC to no end. No one's allowed to escape our wrath. If you challenge us, you will be crushed. And there is no better way for an enemy to incur the wrath of the player characters than by running. It's easy, like, they're trying to flee, everyone focus on him!
Yeah. I mean, it's a very different kind of campaign, this kind of where the enemies are not just people who hold a sign saying, I am the bad guy, please kill me once you reach the right level. Where they actually have, like, motivations and stuff, and where the party is faced by choices that are just, there's no good or bad, there's just choice 1 and choice 2, or even more choices than that.
And you make what you will of whatever morality there is based on your perception of it. That was one of the driving functions behind whenever you guys got to the end of Foghaven, which was whenever you were done with Foghaven. You looked at Ursilia Melkor, you looked at Ajax. Fuck it! Bjorni's leaving, Carmilla Cabot's leaving. Fuck it.
I mean, doing something for doing something's sake is probably the worst thing one can do in most situations. If there's no immediate threat. That's how I justify leaving Fockhaven. I mean, the people there might still be starving, but they were all dicks to us, so fuck them. I don't even. That's more from a player perspective now.
I mean, how wouldn't they be dicks? I mean, they're being ruled over by a lich.
A reasonably good lich. I mean, if they don't want to be saved by the good guys, then they have to be ruled by the evil guys. Or evil guys. Guy.
Insert quotes here.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's certainly interesting to try to force morality onto choices that are intentionally lacking morals, basically. That are intentionally grey. It just never works properly. It just never does. And that's fun.
We all, as players and as our characters or extensions of ourselves, we come into these games with our own ideas based on all of our experiences, and so, as is natural for human tendencies, we try to force things into neat categories and fit them in, and whenever you have a bunch of choices that you can't neatly categorize, it defies typical behavior of the civilization.
Yeah, I think when I made my character, I basically looked at the system and went, okay, there's icons that are defined as evil, there's icons that are defined as good, and there's very few in-betweens. So clearly the best thing would be to make like the usual kind of adventure, right? Because that's likely what the others are going to do. Except they didn't.
And
that's kind of interesting, yeah.
Many of the good icons also they can be seen as in unfavorable lights as well. The Archmage, for example, you might entirely hate him while still being a proponent, like being a good person, if you say side with the High Druid. And the High Druid can be good or evil depending on your attitudes towards what the High Druid advocates, which is the overthrowing of civilization.
It's certainly not as black and white as I had initially thought it was.
They 13th Age did provide like the suggested like 3x3 alignment rubric if to like try to equate them, but their how they are perceived kind of depends on the campaign that's constructed. Yeah. How these icons are being treated is just my interpretation of them in this campaign, because as you put it the last time we spoke, GM does nothing to make shit up.
Yeah, our opinion about some icons would definitely have been different had they not acted or caused actions in the way that they did. Mostly the druid.
So you have a more favorable attitude towards the Lich King as an icon than you do towards the High Druid as an icon.
I mean, yeah, that's the other side of the equation, really. For some things, we just assume that's kind of what the icon wants, because it makes sense, and for others, we kind of assume that that's just an outlier, because I don't think the Lich King is really interested in the good of the people, whereas Isilia did seem to be kind of that way. On the other hand, there was Ajax, who seemed to represent the druids' opinions rather well, meaning that civilization has to die and go back to the sea and whatnot. That seemed to fit, at least. And then we had, well, the Great Gold Worm wasn't really significant too much, at least in the NPCs, at least in the acting NPCs. The three, I think, are just generally regarded as a bad thing. And I don't think there's too much interpretation possible there.
Except in Drakenhall, where they are law, because the blue is the Imperial Governor.
Yeah. But that's really only the blue. Then you have the red, who is supposedly this epic machine of destruction. There's probably not too much interpretation there. I mean, there's probably more to his character than just going
the
about destroying things.
the red has done things that are of help to the Empire.
Yeah,
If you
there's the what's it called in the south near the abyss.
there's the red waste where
Yeah,
basically the red just fucking and demons got fucked by the droves as the red just and he's helping out the Dragon Empire, the Great Gold Worm. The red has his own fucking interests.
yeah. But then there's also the black, which I think is among the reasons why I personally think that the three are usually a bad thing. Because the black is very much kind of the spy master intrigue kind of character, I would assume, because he or she, I'm not even sure what gender the black is. Yeah, she never really seems to show up herself. At least that's kind of the idea I have about her. But she certainly has sent agents, or at least an agent, towards us with the express purpose of killing us. Which it's very hard to like an icon if it actively tries to kill you.
The Black Fang, the Black Fang is, maybe not directly, but if you go high enough up the hierarchy, you do eventually get to the Black, and the Black Fang is her creation. Lip service-wise, they don't exist anywhere else in the Empire except for Dragonhall, but they do get bottled up and shipped towards other areas of the Empire. It's completely legal to train them here and have them here just fine. Not so much anywhere else.
Do we have any other icons at play? I mean, the Lich King is kind of doing thing. I think I mentioned the Lich King already.
You did?
Yeah, the Lich King's motivations are kind of ominous still, because, I mean, yeah, there was Isilio, who was apparently a good guy. Or a good guy.
By player interpretation.
By our interpretation. Then there's Leon, who's apparently buddies with the Lich King, or something.
Conflicted relationship.
Yeah, we haven't really seen him do anything, like, that would define him, like, completely. There's the Dwarf King, who we haven't really seen, the Orc, whatever he is, we haven't really seen.
Not all of the icons get feature. That would just clutter things up too much. Yeah. Instead, we focus on the icons that you as players chose, which is why we've seen a lot of the Archmage, because that's so predominant in 3 of the characters.
Yeah. And there's the Elf Queen, who hasn't really acted at all.
No.
Although, I think we all suspect that since the 4 kind of implies a 4th character, which kind of implies a 4th dragon, which might be a far-fetched assumption, which I think it is. And since the book has already given us the convenient explanation that, the Green who was imprisoned by the Elf Queen might not be there anymore, that's just far-fetched, so it doesn't really count as the Elf Queen being involved.
I think the working theory by, like, Manichae or Dark or whatever, and it was joked about last session and then so many sessions ago, is that the white.
Yeah, all the white, yeah. That's kind of Lich King territory again, because the white is supposed to be dead, and if the white is dead, then...
Historically, the Wizard King killed the white himself.
Yeah, so chances are the white is dead.
And icon-wise, the Wizard King and the 3 haven't been exactly on good terms, courtesy of the fact that the Wizard King killed the white himself.
Yeah.
Which pretty much sent all white dragons on a downward spiral into fucking irrelevancy.
Yeah, there's probably icons I forgot, but yeah, if they don't play, if they are not significant in the campaign.
No, yeah, there's a few icons. The Priestess.
Oh, the Priestess. Yeah, she's kind of there in a way. She cost Thomas some money in like session 2 or something.
You could have chosen to go to Santa Cora.
We could have, yeah.
She would have had more of a role in that aspect.
I mean, I don't think Thomas as a character would ever intentionally want to visit the Priestess after his kind of reasoning for his relationship.
It wouldn't have been seeing her personally. You would just been speaking to some functionaries about your story and experiences.
Which seems completely irrelevant to everything, so that's even less of a reason to go there. It's like, yeah, we know we could go do good somewhere, but we came here for tea and crumpets and talk
Why
because we need a
not, right?
break.
Yeah! You guys
I
aren't
mean,
adventurers!
after this, we probably need a break. After this, tea and crumpets sound like an excellent idea.
Hey, as I said, you folks are welcome to stay as long in Dragon Hall as you want. You chose to come here. Well, more of you than not chose to come here. Not everyone wanted to come here first.
Yeah. No, not first, anyways. I think in general we had Dragon Ball on most of our top threes. But I think the main reason why we did was simply because it was the most interesting seeming of all the choices, but because we kind of had an idea of what Dragon Ball was like from the book, and we kind of wanted to just see what that is like in a like proper sense by going there. It was probably mostly player motivated than character motivated, because as a character it's probably a really stupid idea to go here if you have no business.
I did make sure to emphasize that in the notes that you got. Only you have to have a good reason, or you're pretty stupid to want to come here to Dragon Hall. Desperate or foolish. So how's Dragon Hall been for you?
A very interesting experience. It has been as dangerous as I think it should have been. I can't really say it fulfilled my expectations because I didn't have too many, because I had the little blurb out of the book, which doesn't really tell you much.
Right, and the stuff that I gave you guys from Lord Teraptus or whatever you'd figure out before coming here.
Yeah, it has certainly managed to do a very good job at keeping my interest, which is probably the best thing you can say about anything. It has been fun, let's put it that way.
Yes,
and since the entire point is to have fun, then it has succeeded so far.
And most of the stuff that you've done here in Dragon Hall, like, last session was the most progress that you can say you've made towards figuring out why you came here, like, what you wanted to know when you came here in the first place, which is, who the fuck are the four? What the fuck are the four?
It was basically like, we have a lead, but we need to turn Thomas into a lizard, and I think that's fine.
Yes, we're like, we need to get our place. We need to acquire friends for our place. We need to let's go exploring around a bit because we're out of money after Manikai spent his entire fortune on getting this place. Oh, and then for the thing you missed, let's explore this fucking crazy thing that we bought because it has, like, magical properties and connections. And then, I guess we should maybe start working towards why we came here.
Oh.
Again, that doesn't bother me. It's whatever you folks want to do. The more advanced notice I have, the more tools I can give you so that you can do what you want to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we're having so much trouble actually deciding on things.
Just not conversing with each other.
That's kind of the thing. I try occasionally to write something, and then Manikai responds, and then it's just us talking, and then there's occasional other comments, but we never decide on anything because nobody wants to say, yep, that's what we're going to do.
You folks spent an hour and a half last session, like, talking back and forth about the same points regarding what you wanted to do. Didn't bother me. My time consisted of this.
And it has to be said that it is difficult to get all of us together to actually talk, usually. I mean, I know Manikai is around usually, I'm usually around, DDS is often around. Griff is kind of unavailable a lot.
Manikai and Gogor have talking extensively for things.
Yeah.
Griff is the only person, which, since he's not involved in a significant chunk of the sessions, I mean, you don't really have to worry too much about his input anyway. He's riding along as an occasional fifth, and I wanted to play a tabletop game with him again, and thought his availability would be stronger than what it was, but whatever.
It works the way we've been doing it, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so ultimately, yes. Team PC, better unity and organization, and along with the realization that you chose an area which you know little of, because of course you know little of it.
I mean, at least for next week, I'm not going to
Yeah, you're
decide on
fucking
anything
good. You're fucking
because
good.
I'm not involved. You guys handle this.
You can participate in the metagame as much or as little as you'd like if you don't want to influence them. I haven't the foggiest how long it'll take for them to build their coalition or whatever before deciding on however they want to approach the situation. I told them, and I'll probably make another reminder about it maybe tomorrow in the group chat. Like, you guys, metagame wise, know how this is gonna look, even if your characters don't. So, you can start thinking of things that you want your characters to think about when they see this shit. You're intelligent enough. Your characters are intelligent enough. You fucking get ideas in your mind. Whatever, I know metagame shit happens. I was a player. I'm still a player at times. Been doing this for longer than Jake and Dark have been alive. I know to look at the fucking ceiling, damn it. That's right, not once did you look at the ceiling, even when you were strapped to the altar. No, just a common adventurer trope. I was making a joke about how, like, when you were strapped to the altar, you didn't look at the ceiling once, even though it's, like, right above you, and you couldn't help but stare at it.
I mean, even if there had been an ooze on the ceiling, there was little I could have done against it, so I just took the chance and hoped that there wasn't.
You could have attempted to charm it into consuming your bindings without eating you in the process.
But that would have been a charisma-based skill check, probably.
You know, maybe that's what you want to put the plus to.
And I'll get further backgrounding to get ooze charmer.
Huh. I'd definitely like to hear the description for that background.
The description of how Thomas learned to do these things would be too graphic to ever do during a session.
No. Don't forget, I talked Manikai into doing the Age of Darkness sexual session made solely to fuck with iPope's mind.
That was quite possibly the best thing that has ever happened.
I have handled mature elements in my day for sure. I can handle whatever you pitch my way. I think I can. But you Germans have depraved minds, according to what the internet teaches me.
I don't mind the topics. I just don't think it's a good idea to what's the word I'm looking for here? To dwell on them too much, especially if that's not the point of the campaign, because
you're making it a point
eventually cross a line that you shouldn't.
Look, when you're choosing the ooze charmer background, you're apparently making it a point of the campaign. Maybe you should make that your one unique thing too.
I'm an ooze charmer. Don't ask me what that means.
Let's see. If you increased your intelligence, you would get +1 mental defense. If you increased like your wisdom, you would get +1 armor class, I think.
I couldn't do that because that's my racial bonus.
Right. Should my fatigue there. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yeah, the things that would make most sense are probably con for more HP and more recoveries and all those good things. Intelligence for mental defense. Dex would not get me anything.
And dexterity would increase your initiative by 1.
Yeah.
And your range attacks that I know you use so much.
Charisma would give me that +1 on checks I'm really bad at the moment, which is just like background checks relating to anything that is talking.
Small town bartender, no charisma modifier. It's a small town.
I mean, Thomas would have been that kind of bartender who just sits there and grunts occasionally at the appropriate moments.
Sure.
He's the listener, not the talker.
Sure. Makes sense to me. Give it some thought and let me know. Since we don't have to worry too much about you being immediately active, sometime before Next session on Tuesday. I don't have an immediacy to know.
All right.
And come up with some flavoring for how your character has changed. Either physically if it's a physical increase, or on the inside and perhaps projecting physically. Whether it's a different look in his eyes or a different way he stands or considers situations. Even if it is a mental attribute that's increased, it'll still probably display itself physically due to Thomas's naivety and his lack of disguising his true emotions and thoughts.
I think if I were to go for a mental attribute, I would basically probably explain it by the sudden absence of doubt about himself, because now he has explanations for so many things that have bothered him in the past, but now everything makes sense. In a weird way, but sense nonetheless.
He's had his suspicions about what his origins might have been. All of the crazy dreams he's had certainly haven't helped.
Yeah, I'll come up with something.
Fantastic. And you can flavor like how Thomas, might have changed however you like it, your character. I just gave you some stuff to go on from how your character looks different, because he has certainly been changed with his encounter with the concoction. Just not as advertised.
Yeah, not quite.
But then again, apparently you weren't concerned at all. You're like, yeah, I'm going to get captured, and it's probably not going to work on me.
As a player, yes. Character, not so much.
Yeah. But the player ideaing is what totally made you okay with agreeing to what the other players wanted.
It was a great deal of curiosity about how things are going to turn out. And I mean, if it had gone badly, then it would have gone badly.
Everything was certainly statted up and still is in case case of the worst.
Yeah. Thomas battling like 50 lizardmen while dragging Rav around or something. Wouldn't really work.
Hey, something that you could have attempted to do there with Rav is, if you wanted to try to escape, Thomas, given enough time, could probably have yanked the chain from the stone wall, and then you get to go wandering around and risk death.
Yes, yeah, I've considered it for a second. But considering the amount of stuff and the lack of any kind of appropriate skill set that Thomas has, then it's
how
too much
good am
risk.
I at opening locks or moving silently or hiding in shadows or detecting traps? Well, detecting traps, my years as a guardsman in Santa Cora, the peaceful place with no traps to worry about, totally trained me for worrying about traps.
Yeah, it was just too high of a risk.
Okay. I am gonna go and let you get about the rest of your German day. Whenever you come up with ideas pertaining to Thomas, or if you think of any other questions or comments to ask me pertaining to the campaign or to your character, so that you can have more fun, feel free to do so.
Okay. Then have a good day, or